3 years ago, I achieved what most people spend their entire lives dreaming about. I retired at 55 with enough money to live comfortably for the rest of my life. But here's what nobody tells you about early retirement. Instead of feeling free and accomplished, I felt like a complete fraud. I was drowning in guilt, shame, and this overwhelming feeling that I was somehow wrong. If you're considering early retirement, or you've already taken the leap, and you're struggling with these same feelings, this video is for you. Let me paint you a picture of what I thought retirement would look like. I imagined sleeping in every day, traveling whenever I wanted, pursuing hobbies I never had time for, and finally reading all those books gathering dust on my shelves. For the first month, it was exactly like that. I felt like I was on the world's longest vacation. I woke up without an alarm, had leisurely breakfasts, went for long walks, and felt genuinely grateful for the financial planning that made this possible. But then, something strange started happening. Around week 6, I began waking up with this knot in my stomach. Not because I was worried about money, that was secure. It was something else entirely. I started questioning everything. Was I being selfish? Lazy? Was I wasting my potential? When people asked what I did for work and I said, "I'm retired," I felt like I had to justify it immediately. Well, I worked really hard for 30 years, I'd say, almost apologetically. That's when I realized I wasn't just retired. I was retired and riddled with guilt about it. The guilt showed up in ways I never expected. I remember one Tuesday morning, I was at the grocery store at 10 a.m., something I used to dream about when I was stuck in rush hour traffic. But instead of enjoying it, I felt like everyone was looking at me, wondering, why isn't this person at work? I started avoiding certain social situations. When my working friends complained about their jobs or their stress, I felt like I couldn't contribute to the conversation. What was I going to say? "Oh, I know how you feel. I had such a hard time choosing which book to read today." The worst part was family gatherings. My brother-in-law, who's the same age as me, would talk about his latest promotion or work project, and I felt diminished somehow, like I was taking the easy way out while everyone else was still fighting the good fight. I even started having trouble sleeping, not because of financial worries, but because of this nagging voice in my head that kept asking, "Are you contributing anything meaningful to the world? Are you just being a burden on society?" Some days, I seriously considered going back to work just to stop feeling like this. So, why does this happen? Why do we feel guilty about achieving something most people would kill for? I've spent a lot of time thinking about this, and I've identified 4 main culprits. First, social conditioning. From the time we're children, we're taught that our worth is tied to our productivity. What do you want to be when you grow up? Notice how it's always about what job we'll have, not what kind of person we'll be. We internalize this message that working equals worthiness. Second, the comparison trap. Social media doesn't help here. I'd see my former colleagues posting about their achievements, promotions, and projects, while my biggest accomplishment that day was perfecting my morning coffee routine. It's hard not to feel like you're falling behind when everyone else seems to be moving forward. Third, identity crisis. For 30 years, when someone asked who I was, I had an easy answer: my job title. Suddenly, that was gone. I wasn't just retired from my job, I felt like I was retired from having an identity altogether. And fourth, survivor's guilt. I knew I was incredibly fortunate to retire early when so many people my age are worried about whether they'll ever be able to retire at all. That fortune felt almost unfair, like I didn't deserve it. All of these factors combined created this perfect storm of guilt that was honestly ruining what should have been the best time of my life. The turning point came about 6 months into retirement during a conversation with my neighbor, Margaret. She's 78 and has been retired for over a decade. I was complaining to her about feeling useless, and she stopped me mid-sentence. She said, "Honey, you worked for 30 years. You saved your money, you planned well, and you earned this. But more importantly, retirement isn't about stopping, it's about starting something new." That hit me like a ton of bricks. I had been thinking about retirement as an ending, when really it was a beginning. Margaret helped me realize that I had been measuring my worth by the wrong standards. Just because I wasn't earning a paycheck didn't mean I wasn't valuable. I started volunteering at the local literacy center, helping adults learn to read. Suddenly, I was contributing again, but on my own terms. I also started looking at early retirement differently. Instead of seeing it as taking something I didn't deserve, I began viewing it as the natural result of good planning and hard work. I had made sacrifices in my working years, missed family dinners, skipped vacations, lived below my means, all so I could have this freedom later. This wasn't luck or laziness. This was the payoff for decades of intentional choices. Here's what I want you to understand if you're struggling with retirement guilt. You are not lazy. You are not selfish. You are not a burden. Early retirement is not about opting out of life. It's about opting into a different kind of life. A life where you get to choose how you spend your time based on your values, not your employer's demands. I've learned that purpose doesn't have to come from a job. It can come from volunteering, mentoring, creating, learning, or simply being present for your family in ways you couldn't before. Your worth was never actually tied to your productivity anyway. That was just something society told you. Your worth comes from who you are as a person, not what you produce. And here's something that might surprise you. By retiring early and living the life you planned for, you're actually setting a positive example. You're showing others that financial planning matters, that it's possible to create the life you want, and that there are different paths to fulfillment. Today, 3 years after that initial wave of guilt hit, I can honestly say I love my retirement. Not every day is perfect, but I wake up grateful for the choices I made that led me here. If you're experiencing early retirement guilt, please know that it's normal, it's temporary, and it doesn't mean you made the wrong choice. Give yourself time to adjust to this new identity. And remember, you earned this. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Are you dealing with retirement guilt? What's helping you work through it? And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Aging Gracefully Over 60 for more honest conversations about life after 60. Next week, I'm going to share 5 specific strategies that helped me overcome retirement guilt and start truly enjoying this phase of life. You won't want to miss it. Until then, be kind to yourself and remember, you've got this.